growing up in Alabama as a child, you either had to be Alabama and Bear Bryant or you had to be Auburn and Show Jordan. My entrance exam college was my father said that, "Hey, son, you're going to Auburn." And I'm like, "Yes, sir." And that's how it was back then. But you really always had a love for Coach Fry. But obviously, that was a different time then. Alabama had fallen on some hard times, multiple coaches. Ray Perkins had followed Bear Bryant, who had passed unexpectedly, literally a month after he had retired. It was like Kennedy being shot. You remember where you were when you heard about it. I was a junior at Auburn, working in Auburn sports information, and it was even a sad day there. And so Alabama had a series of misfires with their coaches up until Coach Gene Stallings, who was an amazing human being, Junction boy, Texas A&M, really, really good man. We did a lot of work with him and Coach Dye, who was another Coach Fry acolyte and disciple. And so fast forward, Alabama program is basically on life support. Mal Moore, the athletic director at the time, the lifeline was to Coach Nick Saban, who had an amazing run at LSU and Michigan State before that. Obviously gifted, was on the 95, coached the 95 Cleveland Browns and Belichick and those guys. But he had gone to coach the Miami Dolphins, and it wasn't working out well on either side. And Nick just has an amazing relatability to a college athlete, as a student. He's a teacher. His dad owned a service station in West Virginia. Miss Terry was a cheerleader at the riding school. Amazing, devout Catholic, and obviously a bright guy. Had won a national championship at LSU. Was looking for a way out in Miami. The Dolphins were looking at a way from him. Ironically, had he been able to sign Drew Brees instead of going to the Saints, all history may have been broken out differently. And then secondly, what people don't remember now is that Rich Rodriguez had actually turned down the Alabama job because his wife did not want to live in Tuscaloosa, and hence the door opened for Coach Saban. And so Coach Saban brought the process, as he calls, the structure, the motivation to take no prisoners. When he signed his first contract with Alabama and Jimmy Sexton, whom I've known a long time, amazing agent, he said, "I'm a football coach. I'm not going to go raise money, and I'm not going to do all these television commercials. I'm just going to go win ball games. If I win ball games, the rest will take care of itself." So fast forward, I don't even know if it's incalculable, his contributions to the state of Alabama, economically, the university from a recruiting perspective, academics perspective, athletics perspective, forget all the draft choices and all of that. Kids would see from the north and they would see this unbelievable scene at Bryant-Denny Stadium with Coach Saban and Dixieland Delight, and they would go, "I want to be there." So all of a sudden, like, the enrollment and the applications just climbed into the tens of thousands. And so it was amazing to watch that from afar. Fortunately, I was able to create and conceive a commercial with the Aflac Duck and Coach Saban, which was groundbreaking and trend-setting at the time. My sales pitch to Coach Saban was, "We can't afford you, but we will spend millions of dollars beaming your image into the living rooms of many high school recruits and their families with the Aflac Duck." He said that was the best sales pitch he had ever heard. And so fast forward, Coach Saban's retired. I've had the honor to tour the Alabama athletic department with 3 different athletic directors. Coach Mal Moore, who was just an amazing man through and through. The athletic department's named after him. All of his rings, all of his watches. It's just, really amazing. I wish more people could be able to see and expose it. Bill Battle, who's one of my longest term mentors, amazing Southern gentleman, founded the collegiate licensing company, created the collegiate licensing industry. And then now Greg Byrne, who, was amazing, a multi-generational athletic department member. His father was a famous athletic director. So I've toured the facility 3 times, and I went to Auburn. I know I'm behind enemy lines down there, but it really never gets old. But this one sort of stood out, and it's probably because Nick's not in the facility anymore per se, but his presence and his spirit certainly drifted through it. And forget about the physical facilities because they're impressive. I call Alabama the 33rd NFL team, or I did when Nick was coaching. It was more about the resources, more about the scale, but the sheer immeasurable impact of Coach Saban, not on the program, but on everything. But obviously, at that period of time, sort of pre-NIL, 6 national championships, 7 national championships, one including LSU, 9 SEC championships, more than 200 wins, more than 100 NFL draft picks, many first-round draft selections, 4 Heisman Trophy winners. They did not have a Heisman Trophy winner before Nick got there. So it's not just about a dynasty. It was about an economic engine. As I said, record-breaking enrollment, massive thousands of out-of-state applicants, and the raise of national profile, international profile, the Yankees, the Celtics, the Cubs, Alabama, the Cowboys, billions in economic impact. Mercedes-Benz was there. The plant was able to recruit on a global basis due to Nick Saban's impact on Tuscaloosa. And as I said, he turned it into a destination, not just for athletes, for students, for faculty, for the investment, for the scholarships, for the academics. And when I say pipeline, I mean multiple pipelines. Obviously, Alabama was the closest thing that you had to an NFL farm system. Every Saturday became a preview of what you were going to see on any given Sunday in the NFL. And that level of consistency just doesn't happen by accident. It's the process, Ned would say. It's the culture. It's the environment. It's leadership. It's leading by example. It's practicing what you preach. And that is what builds a legacy. Things like the soon-to-be open Saban Center that's going to extend that impact even further, creating opportunities for many, many people that couldn't afford it otherwise, in education, in STEM, in workforce development for the future and future generations. So this is how you knew it was never just about football for Coach Saban and Miss Terry. And that's the part that a lot of people don't talk about. They really don't understand and they don't see it. But they know it's around them. I was able to watch after the 2000 tornadoes were devastated Tuscaloosa. I had friends and employees that worked for me that lost loved ones in this process. And had the storm just veered a little more east, probably would have devastated the entire campus and thousands of students. And my friends would have been killed. The very next day, Coach Saban and Miss Terry, they showed up. Recovery, passing out water, pressing Alabama to get the lights back on, rebuilding homes, rebuilding lives, showing up quietly and consistently, many times without recognition. That's the part that doesn't show up in the box scores. Certainly might matter the most. In today's era, NIL, transfer portals, constant movement, no loyalty, no commitment. What Nick Saban built, consistency, the culture, the standard, it's not just rare. Highly likely that's unrepeatable in our lifetime. A once-in-a-lifetime force in sports, leadership, and institutional impact. That's Coach and Miss Terry Saban. I'm Vince Thompson with Met. Thank you for your time.